Good evening. It's a beautiful night. It's unbelievable. It rained all day. Clouds are separated right now. The sky's clear. A few jets flying overhead for their 8 o'clock flights, and just a great night. I've thought a lot about the Memorial Day weekend and what that really means. I grew up towards the end of the Vietnam War, so the young men that were dying in Vietnam were probably a decade older than me, so I didn't really know a lot of those folks. And the Korean and World War II were long before my time, so Memorial Day didn't really mean much to me. But the idea of people standing up courageously for something that's a big deal, willing to risk their lives, kind of makes a lot of sense to me. The idea of being willing to live freely is a big deal, and the cost that comes with living freely. Not only physically freely like we can do in the United States, but spiritually free, which is the ability to live the life God's given us through His Spirit and through the Son who offered Himself as a sacrifice to set us free. He said we are free indeed, is what He said. But when I think about the memorials, I was thinking about Joshua chapter 4. And in Joshua chapter 4, Joshua had just taken over the power of the nation of Israel, the leadership, from Moses. And all through chapter 1 in Joshua, God kept telling Joshua, just be courageous, be courageous. And it's a hard thing to be courageous when you're the point man, when you're the one out front. And so he had watched what the nation of Israel had done when Moses was in the lead, and they rebelled against him, and they just didn't do very well with following somebody. And so now Joshua's the point guy, and he's going, oh my goodness, what's this going to look like? And he had to gain courage to deal with the nation of Israel. And so in that prospect, you go through on to chapter 4. Well, and in chapter 4, they had to cross over the Jordan River. So they were going into the promised land, and God had told them that He's going to part the Jordan, and they're going to walk through on dry land. So once they get across there, over 1 million people, they were instructed to get one stone for each of the 12 tribes of Israel and put it back, get it from the middle of the Jordan and put it back by the camp. And what I thought about that was really interesting was that courage is often encouraged through the memorials of our life. When we see what God has done in the past by looking at some memorable event, we can move to the future with courage. And that's really what God was doing for the nation of Israel there. He took, through human hands, the stones that were in the middle of the Jordan and delivered them to the camp where the people would be sleeping, and piled all 12 stones. I assume they're big stones, right there as a memorial, so they would remember. That's what a memorial is, a remembrance, to tell their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids of how the God of Israel was able to deliver them from the captivity that they had in Egypt and the bondage and the slavery. And so what's really interesting to me is that memorial was placed where they sleep. And I don't know about you, but usually when I lack courage and anxiety creeps in, I don't sleep well. And the fact that He put the memorial close to where they sleep just shows the joy and the graciousness of the God that we serve. And so as you consider the memorials in your life where God has delivered you from difficult times, and sometimes when you're not able to sleep, pull those memorials open in your mind and think about the God that is able to deliver you in ways that are beyond words, because He's a good God and He loves you. I hope you have a great day.